Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're breaking down the full card of Pereira versus Ankalaev, UFC 313. We had a co-main, Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's injured, broken his hand, so we're not sure if Gaethje will find a replacement to stay on the card. So see what happens there. But potential fights where Gaethje could run it back with Fiziev, and I think Gaethje probably will end up winning that fight again because of Fiziev hasn't really been active, and he's coming off injuries. He's been silent for a couple of years, and there's potential where Gaethje could fight Beneil Dariush, and Dariush is not really looking too good at the moment, so you could see Gaethje flatline him. There's also another potential where we could see Justin Gaethje. I don't think he'll fight Justin Pereira, but yeah, I think there's another potential will be maybe Renato Moicano stepping in. But I think Moicano will be too much and will take Justin Gaethje down and probably submit him. But yeah, there's some potential, there's a lot of potential there replacements, but yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. But anyways, we'll get into this card. First up, on the prelim here, we got Rei Tsuruya versus Joshua Van here. Now, Rei here is coming off, he's got a nice little win streak here. He's undefeated. He did come off a win there against Carlos Hernandez. He's more of a guy who will stay in range, mix up some leg kicks, look for some counters, but more so he'll be trying to get the fight to the ground, uses grappling and uses wrestling, and try to even set up submissions. So going to get someone like Joshua Van's a guy that likes to push forward, throw a lot of combinations, and try to get the knockout. So he's definitely an entertaining fighter. Look, he does sometimes give away the first round at Joshua Van by being taken down, but later in the fight, his takedown defense does hold up, so it's getting a bit better there. He's still young in the game, so yeah, striking wise, I feel like Joshua Van will be the one closing the distance and pushing the pace against Rei Tsuruya here, while Rei would try to get this fight to the ground and try to set up submissions and shit like that. So yeah, Joshua Van's coming off a win against Cody Djorden. He was taken down there in the first round a bit, but yeah, his takedown defense has got a lot better over the second and third round, and he was picking Djorden apart. So I was surprised actually that Van didn't get a knockout, because Djorden can be chinny at times. So I was surprised that Djorden actually lost the whole fight with Joshua Van there. So yeah, he's got a win over against Edgar Chairez. That was also arm burner, 3 rounds, pure violence. And yeah, Charles Johnson, he got pretty much countered there with an uppercut. So Joshua Van's a pick here, 18% Rei Tsuruya, 82% Joshua Van. So I'm gonna go with Joshua Van as well, unless Rei ends up taking down Van and controlling him maybe 2 rounds and then goes to a fight, goes to a decision. But yeah, I think Van will stuff his takedowns and keep it on the stand up. So yeah, Van's a pick here. Next up, we've got Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. I did break this fight down, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. That fight got moved. This fight, sorry, got moved from a couple of weeks ago to this card. No, wait, yeah, it was on the Cejudo versus Song card. Yep. So it got moved from there to this card here. I'll break it down again anyway. So Curtis Blaydes, more of a wrestler. He is coming off a loss against Tom Aspinall. Aspinall's footwork and hand speed was just too much for Curtis Blaydes. Look, some people say it was chinny, but I just think that, yeah, he has been knocked out to the guys with heavy hands and, guys that have better hand speed. Like, got finished by Pavlovich as well, and Jalin Almeida, he KO'd him. Yeah, that's his last notable win. And before that, Chris Daukaus is not in the UFC, so look, Curtis Blaydes is actually decent with his striking. He's gotten a little bit better than over time, but the hand speed's obviously not there against opponents like, with great footwork or, power behind him, like, Derek Lewis and Pavlovich. But yeah, he's a good striker, like I said. The hand speed's not there, but more so does resolve on his wrestling more. But yeah, most of his fights is staying on the foot there and throwing strikes, but sometimes he's takedowns, he doesn't really set up too well, leaves an opening to get counted and knocked out. So look, he's still a good fighter. He's still definitely top 10 caliber. He's pretty much almost fought everyone in the division, so I understand the UFC are matching him up with Rizvan Kuniev. He's a new prospect to the UFC. He's more of a guy who will pretty much pressure his opponents and use some jabs here and there. Doesn't really throw combinations, but more so pressure to close the distance, so he can use his grappling and use his wrestling more. So not the best striker, but a little bit low output there with the striking. It's just to close the distance. He uses his jab and then tangle his opponents up with the grappling on the fence and tries to get them on the ground. So he's coming up a win against Hugo Connor with a TKO, knee to the body and ground strikes. Brunno Ferreira, he took Renan down a lot in that fight and pretty much controlled him. And I think he got popped for failing a drug test there, Rizvan and Kuniev. So yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'll be surprised if Rizvan Kuniev actually gets an upset, but man, it's a bit of a hard pick, this one, because yeah, I just don't know where Blaydes is at in his career as well. Like, he's coming off a loss and against Aspinall a while ago, but Rizvan's not too bad on the feet. He's not too bad with his grappling, so it definitely can be a decision where it can go Rizvan's way or can go Blaydes' way. But I'm gonna go with a guy with experience in this one. I'm gonna go with Blaydes. I wouldn't go TK. Yeah, it could go get a TKO, but I think I don't know. I wouldn't go TKO. I'd probably go decision. So Blaydes is my pick here, 84% and 16% Kuniev. So yeah, I could see this fight actually. It could go Kuniev's way as well. Next up, we've got Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. Maron Santos here is coming off a win against Khan Offley. I think that was the finale of the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was too. Yep. His last loss was against Dan Argueta, but I reckon if they ran that back, I think Santos could beat Argueta. To be honest, he was quite young too in that fight, then the LFA, and then did beat Rafael Barboza. So yeah, he's more of a guy who will stay on the striking, target the legs, use a front kick to the body, and really good with his counters. He definitely has some power there in his right hand. So, but yeah, really good on throwing combinations, using his jab well too, and very good accuracy and timing as well. So going against someone like Francis Marshall, he's not the best striker, but he would try to close the distance and try to get the fight to the ground, uses wrestling and grappling. He is coming off a win split against Dennis Bazooka. Like, he took him down and pretty much controlled him, but striking wise, he didn't look that great there. Also lost to Isaac Delgarian. I don't know where Isaac Delgarian is right now. Definitely he was definitely a prospect coming up too. And then pretty much a split loss against Gomez. So yeah, striking probably won't be the best. I do think Marion Santos will be too much for him on the striking, but Marshall will try to look to get the fight to the ground. But I think Marion Santos takedown defense is pretty up there too, so I think he'll be fine stuffing a lot of these takedowns from Francis Marshall. And I do think Francis Marshall's going to be very desperate to get the fight to the ground, because his hand speed definitely not going to match Marion Santos in this matchup here. So 10% go on Marshall, Santos 90%. Yeah, I could probably see a TKO. I could feel like his hand speed and his counters and accuracy would be too much. I think I could see a TKO. Yeah, so I'm going to go TKO with Santos here. 90% going with him. The Santos is a pick. Next up, we've got Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Oh, what's going on here? With this matchup here, Alex Morono is a veteran. He's kind of 2 losses. He had a split loss against Daniel Rodriguez. Doesn't look that great. He's pretty, it's pretty much, wouldn't say washed, but yeah, coming on the arse end of his career. Nico Price lost to him. And then Court McGee, like 9 months ago. Court McGee's on the arse end of his career. Lost to Buckley. And then won against Tim Means with a submission guillotine choke. So Moreno's more of a guy. He's not more of a power puncher. He's more of a volume striker. He was kind of uses footwork to stay on the range and throw some leg kicks, and does leave his chin open a bit too. Like, defensively does get tagged up a lot. So does use his jab well, but yeah, he can set up submissions on the ground there. But yeah, he's not I don't really get entertained too much watching these fights, to be honest. But yeah, more of a volume striker. He's good when it comes to like just veteran fights, but yeah, it does struggle there a bit with guys coming up. Going against something like Carlos Leal here, I feel like Leal was robbed in this last fight. Renat Fakhretdinov. Carlos Leal was taken down the first couple of rounds there too, but his takedown defense did get a lot better over the rounds. I feel like Carlos Leal had the bigger, more. It was throwing more combinations, used his jab well, created different angles with his footwork, up that jab well, and was looking pretty good with his counters. So, and he's also got a nice right hand there. So he did stun Rakudinov there with the right hand, did put him up balance. So, but yeah, he's definitely a good striker there. He definitely does have more of the power, I think, compared to Morono in this matchup. And I think I could. Would I see a knockout? Nah, probably not a knockout. Probably a decision. I reckon this fight will go decision. So hopefully, Carlos Leal, sorry, does get the decision win and it doesn't get robbed this time. Last fight was in Saudi too. I think that was in I think that was Sanhagen versus Iman Nurmagomedov card. Yes, pretty sure it was. I think. Don't quote me on that. Or maybe a bit after. I don't know. Anyways, but he got robbed there anyway. So Carlos Leal there, knockout. Yeah, like I said, could be done, but yeah, more of a decision. I think 89%. I am gonna go with Carlos Leal. We're on 11%. So yeah, Leal's a pick here. Next up, we've got Ozzy Diaz versus Djorden Santos. Ozzy Diaz here is more of a striker. He hasn't really had a notable win in the UFC. Like, he's okay, like, at striking. Not the best, doesn't throw too much output. Defense, I wouldn't say is that great on the striking there either. So he did get pretty fucked up real bad against Ming Yang Zhang, and I don't know why he's coming back so quick. I think I don't know if he'll be healed up in time. Like, that wasn't long ago. That card was back in October, November on the Yan versus Figueroa card. So yeah, this is a bit of a quick comeback from Ozzy Diaz. Got flatlined and he did have a couple of wins. That win against Bevin Lewis. Lewis is not that great. He used to be in the UFC and he's not there now, obviously. He was taken down by Bevin Lewis a lot too in that fight, so not a really good look for Diaz. So Diaz's striking is very low output. Does leave a lot of openings as well to get countered. His chin's always up in the air, so yeah, I don't really rate him as a fighter too well, so to be honest. And going against someone like Djorden Santos, I felt like Santos's jab is really, he's got a good jab on him. He will more so throw more output and more so look for the pressure striking against Diaz. Diaz, yeah, defense is not that great, so I think he could get KO'd again, to be honest. Takedown defense of Santos is pretty good too. If you watch that tape on the Contender series, his takedown defense is really good. So, yeah, I feel like Santos will get it done. I reckon a KO. Yes, yeah, I'll go about KO. So 89% go on Santos, but 38% go on KO, and I'm gonna go KO with Santos. 11% Diaz, which is pretty understandable. Diaz is not. I don't rate him as a fighter at all. So maybe this, if he loses this fight, he might get cut, or then UFC might just use him to build up a lot of good fighters and just use him as a can, which is a pretty bad way to look at it, but that's what the UFC does at times. So yeah, we'll see where Ozzy Diaz is going to be at if he does lose his fight in the UFC. So Santos is a pick here. Next up, we've got Brunno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. With this matchup here, Brunno Ferreira is coming up a loss. Got submitted arm triangle choke versus Abus Magomedov. I did pick Brunno to win that fight, but he let me down. He doesn't really look too good when it comes to a fighter that throws a lot of output. He's just very stationary and takes a lot of strikes. But yeah, Brunno Ferreira, he's more of a guy that stays at range. He does throw some front kicks to the body and some leg kicks. Also does have a lot of power in his hand and does look for the counters. Does get taken down at times, but so does Armen Petrosyan. Armen Petrosyan is another weird one. He will use some takedowns and he'll get taken down himself as well. So, look, output from Brunno Ferreira is just not there, but yeah, he does have some nice knockouts on his record, spinning elbow. I feel like Dustin was winning that fight until he got KO'd. Phil Hall's not even in the UFC. Lost against Rizvan. Did get a win over Gregory Rodriguez. He was on short notice against Gregory Rodriguez there, so nice KO on the record. Going against someone like Armen Petrosyan, he's coming off 2 losses here. Shara KO, double spinning back fist, which is crazy. That knockout you see coming, that was definitely something surprising from Shara. Rodolfo Vieira, he was looking good in the stand-up, then got taken down and submitted. So it's like both of these guys in the stage of career where it's just weird. Their records are weird. Like Petrosyan had a nice win against Leroy Duncan. Like, you know, he mixed up some leg kicks and uses pressure striking real well. But he's striking defense is not that great as well. He leaves his chin up in the air a bit too much as well. He did use some takedowns against Duncan in that fight too, so he mixed it up with his pressure striking, getting takedowns. And yeah, it's a good notable win. And I thought his career would have went up after that and just went down with the last two fights. So yeah, Petrosyan can put it together some fights he can't. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to go against Armen Petrosyan. It's one of those things. If he doesn't get knocked out, Petrosyan could win by throwing more output with leg kicks and mix up his striking, and could get a takedown on Brunno, because Bruno's takedown defense sometimes doesn't hold up at times, just like Armen's. And yeah, could get a notable decision win if he doesn't get KO by Brunno. But yeah, the chin's up there, so I don't know. I'm just a bit skeptical in this fight. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brunno Ferreira too as well. TK, probably no TKO, probably decision win. Yeah, actually no, I reckon I'll go TKO because Petrosyan's chin's pretty up there too. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I wouldn't be surprised if Armen does win this by decision, or if Brunno can't get the knockout. So it's a bit of a skeptical one, but I'm gonna go with Ferreira in this pick. 78% Ferreira, 20% Petrosyan. Both guys are just records all over the place, win and lose. So yeah, low confidence pick on that one, Ferreira. Next up, we've got Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This is not a bad fight too. With this matchup here, Jalin Turner, he's had a bit of a layoff, 10 months, even though he did pretty much get Renato Moicano out of there. He did knock him down, but, you know, he kind of walked away because maybe he kind of let his guard down and didn't want to put too much damage on Moicano. Moicano pretty much got up and took over the fight and came back with a win with getting Turner down and used some ground and pound, so, and out grappled him. So Jalin Turner, that fight that did mentally fuck him up. He was on the podcast of Jackson. He said he's just going to take some time away from the game, and that loss there against Moicano did mess him up a bit. Rampage also said, man, you're in this game, you can't let your guard down. You gotta, it's kill or be killed. So next time you gotta go with a finish, even though the ref doesn't step in. So yeah, it could have been a win for him, and it would have definitely, if he did follow up with the strikes against Moicano, he could have been definitely up there, even fighting the top 5, but or anyone in the top 10. So that kind of loss did ruin him a bit, which I can understand. It's gonna, and now he's pushing him out to fight someone that's pretty much unranked and on their way up to the top 15. So Bahamondes is coming. Turner does have decent striking. He's got nice footwork. He's definitely got the hand speed. Uses a jab well and a lot of straight shots. He's got a powerful right hand. Takedown defense a little bit bad. Like, but then again, this is always against the elite grapplers and wrestlers like Matua's Gramrot. He was taken down. He went to war with Dan Hooker. I don't know how Dan Hooker survived that head kick. Had a win against King Green. Renato Moicano, yeah, like I explained. So he could have got that win. So yeah, a lot of people a little bit overlooking Jalin Turner here. They're probably thinking, all right, let's go against him because we don't know where his mindset's at after that last fight. Where it did mentally F him up a bit. So yeah, going against Ignacio Bahamondes. Bahamondes coming up with a win against Manuel Torres, KO. And he's a guy that likes to throw some leg kicks and uses his jab well. Does get tagged up a bit too, defensive. In his last fight, did get tagged up. His chin definitely held up well, and he's really good on setting up the body kicks and head kicks, and yeah, uses reach real well. His only loss was pretty much, not only loss, but yeah, his last loss was against Klein, where he was taken down, and Klein was like, you know, pressure striking him and mixed up with a takedown. So yeah, definitely didn't look good where they were for Bahamondes. Got a KO over Christos Giagos, where Giagos is pretty much past his prime. So yeah, for me it's a 50-50 fight, but I don't know why people are going against Turner, because they don't know where his mindset's at for the last fight, and Bahamondes is hungry, he's coming up. It's definitely a 50 fight. You can't really overlook Turner as well. Turner is he's got good striking, and he's got some decent footwork and the takedown defense. There won't be much wrestling. There'll probably be a little bit of grappling against the fence and clinching. I don't think there will be too takedown on this fight, but yeah, I don't think Bahamondes will knock him out. But he's definitely awkward, and he switches a lot of stance. Switches stance a lot too. Against his opponents, so it can be tricky at times. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to pick Turner, but I just don't know where his mindset's at too. And Bahamondes looks hungry, so, and he throws a lot of output too. But he could get chin too. But his chin did hold up well in the last fight. I'm gonna pick Bahamondes. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Turner wins. So it's a low confidence pick to pick Bahamondes in this one. 68%, 63% Bahamondes, 37% Turner. Fight's 50-50. It's definitely not one-sided, so yeah, but I won't be surprised if Turner does win. Next up, we've got King Green versus Mauricio Ruffy. King Green here is coming off a loss. A lot of people, it did look like he shot for a takedown, but again, he said he slipped, so fuck, who knows. With Bobby Green, it did look like a takedown, but yeah, I didn't really rewatch that fight, but I remember it happening where he kind of like just, it looked like he went for a takedown and got submitted by Paddy Green. I feel like King Green would have been the better striker in that matchup. But yeah, coming off a loss there against Paddy Pimblett, win against someone like Jim Miller, he's still durable, but yeah, he's a vet, and got knocked out by Turner. Grant Dawson, he got pretty much an upset win over that Grant Dawson. I didn't think Grant Dawson was going to get flatlined in the first round. And then, yeah, submitted Tony Ferguson. That's just, oh my god, that's so bad to look at. But yeah, King Green noticeable have been elite striker. Yeah, can showboat a bit, and yeah, whether or not his hand speed's still there, he can get KO'd by guys coming up in the division. He does get win over guys that are veterans, so 38 years old. Had some time off a bit. Yeah, 6 months. Well, it wasn't back in June, July, so 6 months, 7 months ago. Yeah, and Mauricio Ruffy, I think his defense is pretty good. He's got some good head movement. He does throw a lot low output. I think Green will be the guy throwing more output in this fight, but I think Mauricio Ruffy's defense is going to be a lot better than King Green's. Does throw a lot less output. Got some good head movement. He's got a nice left hook counter there. Mauricio Ruffy uses a jab well too, so it does mix up some leg kicks, but yeah, he's definitely going to be looking for the counter. He's going to be looking for King Green to come in and counter, use the counters against Green. I think he will get the knockout against Green, to be honest. Yeah, his timing is real well. His accuracy is very nice too, Mauricio Ruffy. So he did drop James Lontop a couple of times in that last fight. So boxing's real clean again for Ruffy in this fight. So I'm going to go Ruffy because I think his defense is going to be a lot better than Green's, and I think he will get a counter in there. So TKO, yes, that is, I think that's the way it's going to go. 93% Ruffy, 7% Green. So I think Ruffy's definitely going to get the TKO here. So it'd be interesting what those odds will be for getting a TKO against Green. If it's up there, then definitely try to cash onto it, I think, to be honest. So anyways, next up we've got Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. Co-main event, coming off a loss there, Amanda, well, I think it's co-main event, depending on Justin Gaethje. But anyways, Amanda Lemos is coming off a loss there, was taken down, got submitted. So yeah, more of a striker. She's got some decent footwork. She'll target the legs and look for some counters. So yeah, and just takedown defense is just a little bit trash. Like, she was taken down by Jandarova, taken down by Mackenzie Jones, even though she got that win. And then pretty much, yeah, got controlled by Willie Zhang as well. So not very good in the takedown defense. She's coming up in an age. Look, her striking's good. It's just takedown defense. That's the biggest issue of her game. And going against someone like Iasmin Lucindo, she's gonna be the fighter trying to get this fight on the ground. Her striking is a bit skeptical. Like that last fight against Marina Rodriguez, she couldn't really land on Rodriguez. Every time she threw like combinations or any type of striking, it was all shadow boxing. It was just hitting the air. Like, she couldn't connect against Marina Rodriguez. So it's a bit skeptical there, going, with the striking. When she does go against, like, if she does get a win over Lemos, I think Lucindo will struggle with the striking against top 5. But yeah, it's the question of Lucindo's wrestling. Is it going to be too much for Lemos, or Lemos is actually can stuff some takedown, stuff some of the takedowns against Lucindo. So, but Lucindo's, if she's going to struggle in the striking, she's definitely going to get this fight to the ground. And yeah, use a grappling on the ground and even try to set up submissions against Lemos. So it's one of those things where if she doesn't get the takedowns, then I could see Lemos picking her apart 3 rounds and getting the win, because Lucindo's striking does not match Lemos. Lemos's footwork and her switch stance and her striking is going to be too much for Lucindo. But yeah, Lucindo's striking just does not look good against someone like Marina Rodriguez was. You know, she just couldn't connect against Rodriguez, and got the fight to the ground against Rodriguez, because Rodriguez always had issues with takedown defense itself as well. So, yeah, it's a bit of a skeptical one. I'm gonna pick Lucindo because of how bad Lemos's takedown defense is. But if Lemos's takedown defense does hold up, she could definitely get this win with her striking. So, 66% Lucindo, Lemos 34. So I'm gonna pick Lemos here as well. I'm going to pick Lucindo here as well, just because I'm really skeptical on Amanda Lemos' takedown defense. Next up, we've got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Now, with this matchup here, Alex Pereira, coming up, he's on a win streak, right? His last loss probably would have been Adesanya. Jan Blachowicz is still complaining about he got that win against Pereira, but he took him down, but didn't do shit with the takedown. So he did. I thought he lost that one clearly. Yuri, Jamal, Yuri again, and then Khalil Roundtree. So Pereira just last fight, I feel like he was losing some rounds against Roundtree. Roundtree shows some holes in Pereira's game there, where he'll stay on the outside, trying to make it tricky there for Pereira, switch a stance and, throw combinations, be in and out, use his jab well, and then stay out of range of Pereira, throwing his leg kicks and even getting his striking off. But Pereira did well in the later round. I think it was the 4th round. He started using his jab, and it was key, and it stopped Roundtree and stopped Roundtree from using movement around, and then, closed the distance and threw combinations and got him out of this. So jab was key for Pereira, so you could see that he used those adjustments in the 4th round. Going against someone like Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev, it's a bit of a weird record, his one. A bit of a weird one. Anthony Smith washed. Blachowicz split. It was a draw. But his legs got chewed up, but yet he resorted to wrestling and got Blachowicz on the ground there. No accidental illegal knee, Johnny Walker. They ran that back, and then Johnny Walker got TKO'd, and then Rakic. So with this matchup here, Magomed Ankalaev, we know he's going to be pressure striking. And the thing with Magomed Ankalaev is, yes, he's coming off the win. He did mix up some leg kicks, but again, his legal leg was getting battered by Rakic, and Rakic was doing well with those leg kicks, and he was doing good with the left hook counters there. But unfortunately with Rakic, he stopped throwing the leg kicks in the later rounds, which is not a good sign, and was resorting to try to get the fight to the ground against Ankalaev. Ankalaev's going to be that guy. I think he will let some leg kicks coming in. But yeah, he could definitely cause an upset here. And I think where Ankalaev was smart in the last fight was he was targeting the body of Rakic. He slowed Rakic down the later rounds by throwing the body kicks, and he landed quite a few of them. But that definitely would be key going against Pereira, is being hitting Pereira's face and not try to use a boxing too much. Obviously use the jab, throw the left straight at times, but he definitely will be targeting more the body kicks against Pereira, slowing down his movement. And then when Pereira is on the back foot, and probably in the later rounds where Pereira is eating too many body kicks, but I doubt maybe, but I can't really say that Pereira would defend the body kicks as well. But if they do land for Ankalaev, he definitely will slow down Pereira in the later rounds and even use some takedowns there, even in the 3rd round, and the 4th and the 5th. I don't think Magomed Ankalaev will resort to takedowns in early rounds. He may do if the body kicks aren't working. So He's going to be that guy targeting the body kick and mixing up some high kicks as well. But yeah, and using that jab. But yes, he will take some leg kicks, and where Pereira, he's going to have to use that left hook because it worked for Rakic in that last fight. And it definitely could work for Pereira in this one. So it's definitely a 50-50 matchup. But yeah, I just don't know. I think a lot of people are overlooking Ankalaev here. Then if they looked at the tape and whatnot, and they seen how Magomed was smart in using his body kicks and slowing down his opponent. And Rakic is a quite tall guy, but again, Pereira's probably defense will be a lot more better than Rakic's. So yeah, it's a skeptical one, man. I could see Ankalaev getting an upset win on this one and then using his takedowns in later rounds. If so, yeah, I'm gonna go with Ankalaev. I'm gonna be that guy picking with Ankalaev. I understand a lot of people won't be happy about it, but I could see an upset win over here. But I do hope Pereira proves me wrong because I do want Pereira to win. But I could see some holes in his game as well, of Pereira. So yeah, the body's definitely going to be key for Magomed Ankalaev here to target that body and use his jab. And obviously, like I said, Pereira is going to have to use that left hook and target the lead leg of Ankalaev. He hasn't been KO'd before too, Ankalaev, so this is going to be really interesting. The only loss was against Paul Craig, submitted in the last couple of seconds. So I'm going to go with Ankalaev 26%. Decision, yes, I'll go decision. 74% going Pereira, 93 KO. Could happen. So it is a 50-50 fight. I feel like a lot of people overlook Ankalaev. So I'm going to pick Ankalaev, but I do want to be proved wrong. I'm not picking him because I like him. I'm picking him because I see that where he can close down Pereira's game. But again, I do want Pereira win. So anyways, guys, those were picks. Those were my picks for the full for UFC 313. Hope you enjoyed the picks. Hit the like, subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another card. I can't even remember what the card it is next week. But yeah, we'll be back with next week UFC card. Anyways, guys, again, take care, stay safe, and I hope you guys enjoy this main card. Cheers. Enjoy this full card, and cheers.